Okay, so just turn that down a bit. Hopefully, this is starting to come through relatively clear. My internet's hit and miss, to be honest with you. Someone piked it yesterday, so it might cut out, which is always exciting. So it might be a bit jumpy. Hopefully, it's not too bad. We'll see. I've got the video quality on absolute minimum before I start to feel like I'm doing a half-assed job. So hopefully it's starting to come through now, and with any luck it'll settle down and stop being an arsehole. So if you are watching at any point, just whack it in the old live chat bit, which hopefully should be up on the left here. Oh Jesus, there we go. Idea being that you guys can just, see it. I find a lot of the problems with streams is they chat to people on the streams and then don't show what other people are saying, and I kind of wanted to do that. Yeah, I'm so good at this. Jesus Christ, video output low, love it. Hopefully it's not too sketchy. If it is, I'll have to sort something out different for next time. Though, like I said, my internet's going to be a bit patchy for the next couple of weeks because it turns out that an engineer took our internet and plugged it into one of our neighbours' like telephone lines. So we were paying for their internet for a day and didn't have any. So it will be a bit sketchy now a couple of times. Very helpful there to let you know that I have dropped frames. A couple of times, yeah. So a few weeks, sorry, it might be a bit dodge. But as long as the audio is okay, so let me know how the audio is, because I fully presume you're not actually watching what's going on over here. Hello, Lucas. Hope everything's all right. Wonderful stuff. Glad you found it. Yeah, like I say, video quality is going to be crappy. Hopefully, audio quality is audible. Just let me know. I'll actually start doing some painting in a minute. The reason I started early is because I knew I'd have issues because it's a live stream. And no one's ever managed to crack a live stream first time, like at all on any level. So hopefully it'll start to get nice and smooth, buttery smooth by the end of the stream. Of course, it's looking very unlikely that it will even run properly at all, which is a shame. I'll give it a half hour and see how we go, and check the internet in a bit. Though it's showing 3 lights, so maybe I've just got that shit a connection. On the paint table today then, Wordbearer's Librarian. So I've even flipped the camera. How good is this? That is preparation right there. Working on the Forge World one, absolutely love the model. And I'm layering up the metallics. So, sorry, I've got my phone here as well, so I can keep track of all the things going on in my life, like one message. So, yeah, sorry, doing the silvers today. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully we get somewhere with it, and we can all have a chit chat about all sorts of shit. Yes, sorry, getting distracted again. Oh, that's more than enough. Fantastic. What's really funny is because Josh Connor says I'm on my way to my local gaming club, I presume, for a Horus Heresy event based around the Great Crusade. That's brilliant. That is what we like to hear. Horus Heresy events are the tits. So the more the merrier on those ones I've found. I really enjoyed the ones I've been to, and I wish I could do more. But there aren't huge quantities nearby, and that's the main reason, to be fair. That and I've got to balance it and actually having someone I live with, so it's not just me. It's relationships have 2 people in them, so can't quite go to a Horus Heresy event every weekend. Though I'm sure I would if I could. Right. So yeah, just layering up the metallics today. I've already given it a base coat of lead belcher and then a relatively heavy wash from non-oil. It was thinned down non-oil because I find it just hits the recesses a bit better. And now I'm going back over with lead belcher and we're going to build it up from there, hopefully. If we don't pick up extra bits of crappy paint. Let us know what that event's like at the end, Josh. If you leave a comment after the video's live or something like that, that'd be cool. Always want to absorb that, like reading about people's heresy experiences. I've got to say, painting on camera is really difficult. Also, I'm playing some music in the background. If you can hear it, that's not such a big deal. It's more if you can hear it and it's detracting from what I'm saying. So just keep me posted on that. If it's too loud, I'll turn it down or off. I find it helps me work. But if it's too loud, like I say, and a bit of a distraction, then let me know. Ooh. What are we all working on in our hobby time then? Anything in particular, chaps, or chapesses, if there are ladies watching? Though I have found I have a very biased swing towards male viewers. I think I'm rocking a solid like 2.8 female percentage. Probably my mum. So, in terms of topics for the chat today, I haven't got too many specific ones. I like to keep things fairly freelance. Idea being people can just come on and chat shit and stuff, and I'll chip in with what my 2 pence worth. And hopefully we'll get somewhere together. You never know, it might actually all work out in the end. And we might have a vaguely healthy stream by the end of the day. Well, not that I'm doing this all day, don't worry, you don't have to worry about that, that's not happening. Just until 10 o'clock, gives me a nice bit of hobby time, and then it's back to sort of studying and all that boring stuff that we have to do to ensure that we can actually hobby later on in life as well. High CPU usage detected. No shit. I love my computer. Never fails to tell me that it's terrible. Never fails. One thing I will talk about, I think, once we get to 9 o'clock-ish, because this is just sort of basically my plan was start at 1:45, have a bit of a preamble, bit of a see what's going on, give people a chance to get onto the stream, and then go from there really. So the idea being, I don't start at 9 and start talking. I start my actual general chit chat from about 9, but I'm online beforehand. But one of the things I will be talking a bit about today, I think, will be sort of what I've got coming up next year in terms of Heresy, and sort of why I've been away. Because I'd like to explain why I've been away, to be fair. Loads has been going on and it's not been particularly fun. It's been lots of stressful occasions, and I feel like at least if I give my excuse, people will be like, oh look, there's a reason, some kind of reason. Slowly adding paint, taking forever. I love the bad internet around here. Shit. If I do go dead silent for like a second, it's probably because I'm holding my breath trying to do a detailed bit. So for that, I apologise as well. I should have picked something a lot easier to paint today, but I've actually got nothing on the paint table besides this librarian, because I'm trying to rein myself in and sort of focus on small projects now and again, rather than just try and batch paint everything. Because I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of learning in terms of painting techniques and painting experiences, because I'm not necessarily rushing them, but I'm getting them done to a deadline, whereas this guy has no deadline. It's an opportunity to paint freely without the worry of sort of like, oh, I've got this event coming up, or I just need this guy done to get in a list. This one is very much more a case of it's going to be more of a hobby love than a chore. Lovely. But next time I'll hopefully have something a little bit easier going, sort of at least primed, so I can do some work on it. Ooh. What legion do I play? I play 2 legions. I play word bearers predominantly. That's kind of what wouldn't say I'm known for it, but I mean that's my prime legion, the one I go and use most of the time. My secondary legion is Iron Hands. They've been building up since summer. So I started my word bearers in January, and I'm currently sat on about 4,000 points. And I started my Iron Hands in August, September, and I'm on 2.5, I think, for them. So it's been a busy year for painting stuff, which is always nice. But yeah, so it's word bearers predominantly as my traitor legion, and then I've got the Iron Hands in if I want to play something loyalist. What about yourself? What do you play? That's Josh. Hopefully, like I say, the live chat should show up on the screen. Relatively clearly, hopefully, as well. It might just be a total pixelated mess, in which case I do apologise. Best of luck in your event, by the way, I should say. I don't think I said good luck, but I will say it now. Best of luck in the that Crusade Era Heresy event. Unless you're a loyalist, in which case, you know, hope you lose. I'm joking. I would never wish that upon anyone, apart from the Ultramarines. They go fuck themselves. Spoken like a true word bearer. Right. Making progress, that's what we like to see. Oh. Smooth. Let's see how we're doing on YouTube, see if it's actually sort of like still picking it up or if it's very bitty. Oh, man, it freezes out quite a lot. Interesting. I wonder what the frame drops will be at the end of this. Probably hideous, let's face it. I'll endeavour to get this sorted for the future. I think it skips a good second out now and again, which is interesting. I'm just going to sip my tea. Oh, that's a good cuppa. Right. Might end up getting onto the blacks. I did bring the black paint out and put it in my thing just in case, to be fair. Because I had a suspicion that when I stream and stuff, I get a lot more done than I think I'm going to. Which is always nice, obviously, it's a good thing. Not a bad thing. But I've got to be careful I don't rush it. Because I really like the sculpt. I think it's a really, really nice model. And I don't want to totally fuck it up. So, and it'd be nice to have sort of like a centerpiece I can take to events. Because I found that a lot of my stuff, because I play such infantry heavy stuff. For those of you who don't or haven't seen my stuff on Instagram or anything, I play a good 95% infantry models. And that is obviously a choice. I don't have to. In my eyes, the choice is made by the Legion you play. And for me, the Legion I play, word bearers, predominantly, are infantry based, which is why I started Iron Hands as my second Legion, ironically, because I wanted a Legion that meant I could go out and buy all the Forge World tanks. And I'm on a strict no tank policy for the word bearers, self-imposed, but I'm fairly strict. So just layering up the next, like sort of the first highlight of metallic. So it's Ironbreaker, the Citadel paint. Just should add a bit of extra shine. Everyone loves that. Jesus. I wish I could see more information on my stream. I wish I could find out exactly why it's totally wank. And no, don't say it's because of me, because that's possibly partly true. But most certainly not polite. Right. Also, I've realised it is quite early in the morning. I've been up for the best part of 3 hours, because my girlfriend works mornings, like early mornings. So she just ends up waking me up anyway. Like, oh, can you do this today? I'm like, yeah, all right. So I wake up fairly early because of that. So if 9's too early, I might end up knocking this back an hour or so. But I suppose time will tell. Time will tell. Oh, knackered. I always find this painting in the morning makes me tired. Not in a bad way. You know, it's not bad getting up and doing stuff this early in the morning, sort of. But I feel like I'm half asleep anyway, so focusing is never easy. Let's give this a wash. Oh, hello. Oh, look at that. Dropped frames. Ew. I've dropped as many as I've given. That's so bad. I've not known it that bad before. It must be the internet. Just connection not being good, to be fair. Okay, so this is a bit of a test, really. To be fair, it should just have jumped on from the last stream. And I think it'd be interesting to see what happens here. Because I have severely dropped the quality of the video in order to try and make the stream that much smoother. Once it's all settled down, hopefully we'll see an increase in something. Because I recognise, oh man, actually I can't do that. I'm just saying. Shall we try that again? Okay. Sorry for the constant toing and froing. I'm trying to get it sort of. I don't know, to be honest. I'm trying to make it work. I think. Yeah, it's just being a bit funny. I think we'll give it a bit more time, and then if it really is absolute dog shite, I can always turn it off and just delay until next week. But the whole enjoyment factor for me was being able to do this. What I could do is have a picture up and talk over the top of it, more podcast style for next time. But I like this kind of interactive element, and I like this sort of holding up a toy soldier and showing you what I'm doing. So I do want to try and keep that. But if it has to go for the sake of the series, so to speak, and that sort of interaction, then I guess it will. Massive apologies for the sudden quietness, by the way. I'm just delicacy required. Right. like I say, just adding this first lot of these first highlights to the metallics. Sort of an edge, and then I try and be fairly true to where the light comes from and stuff like that. So to go a bit above and beyond just a regular edge highlight, sort of add a little bit more to the raised areas. Well, that's the attempt anyway. We'll see how it turns out in the end. Like I say, this is very different from my painting style usually, because I'm normally like 90% airbrush. And whilst this has been heavily airbrushed for the red, it hasn't been for the metallics. And my attempt, like I say, I'm attempting to get this guy to a nice standard, so he can kind of be a somewhat of a showpiece in the army I take to events. So we'll see how that goes over the course of I don't know, could be half painted by the end of the day, to be fair. Beautiful sculpt though. Like Forge World have smashed this one out of the park. As they have with 90% of their models, it would seem, to be fair. But no, this one's particularly, I'm a big fan of it. What have I missed? Slightly off-topic question, but has anyone been watching the Punisher series on Netflix? I liked the original film. Well, the original film, I think it was 2004 or something. I really enjoyed it. Is it Tom Jane or something? And I know it was universally panned. I actually properly enjoyed it. Hey Sam, I'm sure you'll be honest with me when with the whole live stream not quality greatness. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. Like I say, that's the kind of the bit I was hoping to have sort of nailed down, to be fair. But yeah, so like I was saying, if anyone's watched the Punisher series on Netflix, like props to you, because I actually think it's really good, and I did really enjoy the film, so it made me want to watch the series. Like I say, slightly off the Heresy topic there, but I think I'm almost done on that. I think I'm basically there with the metallics now, to be honest with you, so that's a good start. I was just hoping to get just the metallics done today, but I might end up going on to layering down the black base coats. I won't highlight them because chances are I'll do that with the airbrush, just that initial highlight anyway, and then I'll edge highlight with a lighter grey or something. But I will lay down the black by brush because I find it just easier for the big panels and the capes and stuff than trying to do big areas with the airbrush. I find that quite hard once I've already laid down a nice colour. And I'm really happy with this red, so the last thing I want to do is totally fuck it. Yeah, I was going to say I'll just check the stream again because I know that it's been immensely dodgy. To the point at which I'm sure it's almost unwatchable, to be fair. Which is frustrating because all the stuff is right in my end. It's just the internet. Oh. Yeah, I've dropped a lot of frames. Yes, Sam sent me a message letting me know how laggy it is. I wish I knew the answer right now. Kind of just playing it by ear. If it turns out to be utter shit, I'll just delete this episode and have another pop next weekend. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Let me just reply to that and organise this. I have a plan, actually. I'll tell you what I'll try. Let's go to the technical difficulty outro. Nope, the technical difficulty scene. There we go. And try. Oh, this might go totally tits up as well. To be fair, but this will be interesting. See if I can use my phone's hotspot for Wi-Fi. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I say, hopefully you can still hear me. So I've switched to this screen for now because it is obviously fairly unviewable. Come on, personal hotspot. Well, until then, it'll be a nice picture of sorry for the technical difficulties. Because, again, I can just do audio. I'm happy kind of adjusting like that. Let's see what happens with the stream now. There you go. It's slightly better, I guess. Probably. Let me know. Okay. Right. We're about to try something totally different. Okay, back to this now. Well, the stream health seems better than before. It may still buffer. Let's give it a go. Although it's still looking dead laggy. Yeah, so that's actually still not much better. Okay, that's alright. What I was trying is using my phone's 4G, because it actually downloads games quicker, which is really bizarre. But obviously it can't do streams still, which is a shame. So, until I can figure that out, I'm just going to leave it like this. I'll just add a little something for you, just to lighten the mood. Oopsie. What kind of colour shall we have the font as? Nice bit of red, that's what we'll do. There we go. So now we can all see that. Hopefully you can hear me okay, and see the wonderful, well-made graphic there. Obviously it'll be a bit clearer now, I hope. So it'll be audio for now until we can figure out where we're going from there. Oh, is it still connected to my bloody phone? Yeah, I'm not very good at this, am I? Okay, until that sort of settles down, I'll keep talking just in case it is recording me on some level. I'm just waiting for all my connections to sort of pick up. Hopefully that's now, to be fair, because... Okay, you can hear me. Okay, thank you, Barry, from Underdog Painting. Fuck's sake. Honestly, I love technology. This is why I am the editor of our podcast. The podcast that Sam and I do, dropping some fantastic hints there. I say hints, you already know it's there. I'm back, wonderful. Okay, so that graphic is hopefully going to keep everyone entertained. I find it kind of humorous anyway. Good to know that at least you could hear me. This is how it'll have to be for today until I get basically the bigger issue solved. I'll share a little story with you now, actually. So I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but it was probably impossible to hear and see. Sam's listening whilst airbrushing. That's very nice of you. Airbrushing his Project X, I presume. Basically yesterday. Day before yesterday's night. So what was it? Thursday night. Sam and I talking about recording for our Heresy podcast on the Friday morning, and my internet cuts out, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit shit. So I was thinking, it might work tomorrow morning. It doesn't, and an engineer comes round, knocks on the door, and says, "Do you mind if I just test the line?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Comes in and tests the line. Because this was whilst I was recording with Sam using mobile data, and she goes away, looks at the box, comes back and says, "Someone's poached your internet line. So what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back to the headquarters, reprimand the person who did it, and then come back and fix it." So basically, my internet connectivity has been totally cut back to if it had just been installed, because it's effectively had to be reinstalled. So hopefully that's the reason why everything is particularly shit today, and why it's just a sound-only podcast-esque live stream. But yeah, so that's the reason, which I thought was quite funny, in all honesty. Ironically, when we turned up, that was the case as well. Someone was nicking our internet before we got here, and we had to have them rewire it. So obviously that person complained that they were not getting their free internet anymore. So hopefully next week we'll have cameras and stuff will be pretty again. But for this week, you'll just have to stay with the message of Callum is a douche, and that my radio voice, if you like, as opposed to my radio face. Oh right, yeah, no swearing, of course, no. Well, to be fair, I know that YouTube is cutting down on swear channels and stuff, channels that use swear words and things. So what I'm trying to do is, I say that, it's cutting it down in the sense that it's taking ad revenue away from channels that use swear words, and rightly so. It's not supposed to be an adult site. That made it sound like Pornhub for a minute there. That was not what I meant. But what I was trying to say there was they are obviously cutting down for good reasons. But as I make no money on videos anyway, it doesn't make too much of a difference to me. So I can be slightly less clean cut and a little more rough around the edges, so to speak, while I paint shit. So today, like I said, as you probably didn't see, even if you were here from the beginning, I'm working on the Forge World Cataphracti Armor Librarian. I'm layering up the metallics. I'm currently at the final highlight stage. I'm just waiting for it to dry, really, and I'm talking rubbish. But I'm at that final highlight stage on the metallics, which will be really nice to get done, because then I'm onto the blacks. Once the blacks are done, excuse me, I got hiccups. I can then take things further elsewhere on the model. And we can go, so obviously if you want pictures of this stuff, if you do want to see what I'm working on, head over to my Instagram, because I put up a picture pretty much every day, if not every day, every other day, of what I'm working on, and as and when I can. So you'll see him done up to the golds, so you'll see the nice, I really like how I've done the red and the transitions. I'm very pleased. The gold's quite nice, it's burnished, weathered a bit. And now I'm doing the metallics, it's starting to take shape as a model. So yeah, hopefully I'll keep going forward with that, and the metallics will just add that nice pang, and then we can come in with all the other colours as well, the black first, and then go in and do all the other colours, and then I'll airbrush up the bloodletter, probably a milky yellow. So I've got a couple of questions from Barry from Underdog Painting. Am I just doing Heresy stuff these days? That is pretty much the case. The channel is now exclusively Heresy. I won't be doing any non-Heresy content, unless it's just like this kind of friendly live stream, although it technically is Heresy based, hence the amazing title, live at the crack of dawn, because I'm just too humorous. But In terms of other hobby stuff I do off the channel, I have recently picked up Shadespire and played games with Harry and built up a couple of the war bands, and I started painting them. I like the minis more than anything, and having a card game is kind of fun, but you won't see any of that on this channel because Heresy is where my heart's at, if you like. And my Instagram is at Tabletop Banter. It's surprisingly no one's taken any of the Tabletop Banter stuff at all. So I could go on almost anything and have a Tabletop Banter account, which is really handy, don't get me wrong, but I am somewhat surprised. So another question from Barry is, what made me go down the Heresy route? I love the game. I just absolutely adore it. I love the fluff. So I'm just shaking a paint. So I read the books, I bought the models, and I played the game, and it's just so much fun. I thought I was going to be into Warhammer 8th edition. I was geared up and ready to go full bore with it. I bought the Dark Imperium box set. I was going to do an entirely Primaris Crimson Fist army. I was so ready for 8th edition, and when it came out and I played a few games, I found it entirely disappointing. Because I'd been playing Heresy since January, and now what matters to me in the game isn't so much how the game mechanics work per se, but how the game feels to play. I don't mind that it's a slightly more complicated game. I don't mind that it's less balanced. I don't mind that it's not got the variety of army selection in terms of, you know, like Eldar, Tau, and all that stuff, because I love the stories. That's made me buy the miniatures. And then moving on from that, I love being immersed in a game with 2 painted armies on a nice table, and I just don't really care how functional the rules are, as long as they make the game feel like the story from the books. And I feel with the 7th edition and soon to be Horus Heresy specific rule set, you get that a lot better than 8th. I think 8th kind of distances itself from the fluff a bit. Now that's just my opinion. When I played the games, I was so raring to go and so excited for it, and it left me very disappointed. It left me feeling quite empty, and it made the games feel very hollow. So that's why I didn't invest any more time and effort into 8th Ed, basically. Not that saying it's a bad game, just it doesn't tick my boxes. I'm sure it's a very good game, to be fair, for some people, but just for me, it didn't quite satisfy. It didn't scratch my hobby itch, so I pretty much panned it straight away. And then went back into Heresy. Well, back into Heresy, continued Heresy, because it just does. It fulfills everything I want it to. It just does everything I need it to. Oh, thanks for the compliment. It's a cool answer. Well, it's just how it is, I think, for me. I have had a look at all sorts of different game systems since starting Heresy, and nothing's really kept my interest in the same way. The miniatures aren't as good for 40k, in my opinion. I know it's a similar company, but they don't even scratch the surface on the quality of Forge World models, in my humble opinion. There is just some stuff that Forge World produce, much like this Librarian actually, that is going to far outstrip the work done by Games Workshop, as opposed to Forge World. And yeah, this Librarian is a very good example. If you haven't seen it, he might be on the website, I don't know. I know you can only buy him when you're at Warhammer World. I would 100% recommend buying him just for the thrill of painting the model, because it is such a stunning sculpt. He's summoning a demon in the model. It's really pretty, and at the moment, I'm thoroughly loving being able to just paint a model on this chap and getting somewhere. And he suits word bearers because we like demons. So, ironically, I did toy with giving 8th another pop the other week. I was going to go out and buy the Chaos Codex. I use the word bearers. I've got models that will fulfill the roles that they need to. And I could just play a game. But I don't know, maybe it's something about the fact they've gone back to codices that I don't like as well. I won't make this a bashing 8th edition episode, but I liked the indices, but they didn't last long enough, and I think codices have been churned out. I don't like the fact they've used the same art as before. I think that was very lazy, and that made me quite sad. But yeah, no, there's nothing different about it anymore, so it's just, I don't know, not grabbing that interest, but there we go. And Barry says he's plodding on with his iron hands. Ironically, my iron hands are they've had table time now, which has been lovely. They are currently undefeated, which is pretty cool. And it's not just one game. I've played 4 games with them now, and they haven't lost, which is brilliant. I had 1 draw and 3 wins, and that's nice, obviously, because my background with the word bearers is significantly worse. And when I say significantly, I mean significantly worse. Oh, sorry, Barry's doing Iron Warriors. Very cool Legion again. I've seen some really nice ways to paint them online now, which take no time at all. Them being predominantly metallic, there are techniques out there that can just get them done like overnight, effectively. Much like my iron hand painting technique, which is very, very fast. Well, I say that. It's very fast for me, and if you had a quick painter anyway, you could batch out most of your stuff in an evening. It's pretty ridiculous, to be fair. But it still has the desired effect. It has that oily look that Iron Hands from the Heresy have, which for me is a bit of a good selling point. But yeah, just adding. So obviously this is I'll be describing what I'm doing as we go. So at the moment I'm doing the last highlight on the metallics, which is Runefang Steel. And yeah, just plodding along, getting this on. It's only the sharpest edges now, so I'm not like doing much layering, which is good for time. And tried something a bit different on some of the panels and stuff, trying like a more true paint style. I don't know really what to call it. It's not an edge highlight per se, but it's giving an effect as if light's hitting the panel, and it's sort of, there's a light spot in the middle, for example, and it spreads out that way rather than just edge highlights. It's early days on this technique for me, so I'm not saying I'm going to get anywhere near good, but that sort of natural light effect is something I'm giving it a go anyway. So yes, it's the stripes that take time. It really is. I've toyed with 40k Iron Hands for a while, Iron Warriors, sorry, for a while, because I like the idea of doing Chaos Iron Warriors rather than Traitor. But it was doing the Hands and Stripes that somewhat put me off. Just again, it's that time investment to add something to the miniature, and it's not necessarily as wow and like popping out as some of the other stuff you can do if you're going to put that time in. But it's necessary for Iron Warriors because it is sort of their thing. So Barry's also said he's done 6k of Tyranids in 2 months. That's very impressive. That is very impressive. I'm not that much of a quick painter. However, I did manage to get 1,700 points of Iron Hands with my painting style done in 9 days, which was ridiculous, really. To be fair, I could have played a 1,500 point game after that 9 days, because a couple of hundred points were in characters. That's crazy when you really think about it, you know. That kind of speed. I've not done it before, and I think it was kind of, you know, just shows the technique is very fast rather than me being particularly fast. It's something I may talk about in the future. I don't know yet. So obviously, because I've been away for quite a while now, my plan, just for everyone who's watching this back or listening now, is to do this every Saturday. So hopefully with video, and if not, then I'll have some nice pictures or something up in the background, and we'll still do it, but it just won't be as showy as I want it to be. And then, as well as that, I'll be hopefully doing a video for every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, just to add a bit more calm to your week, basically. And in those videos will be predominant. Well, they will all be Heresy related, but they'll either be something to do with painting Heresy or playing Heresy, or if not those things, then certainly something to do with the Heresy, whether it be fluff or a painting, not necessarily tutorial, but what I've learned. So a tutorial, but not saying it's the way to do it, just a way, because I don't believe there is a single way of doing something. With anything in life, to be fair, there's no single way of doing something. There's loads and loads of different techniques, and it's finding the one that suits you and your paint style the best. And the more people that share that information, the more likely someone is to find that information and then find their own paint style. So I think it's important to share that sort of information around, and to also watch those kind of videos as well. I think even if you don't use the techniques you learn from watching a video on how to like paint better, for example, my personal opinion is you should still watch them anyway, because it does give you that. It sparks the thought process, really. You know, no matter how good you are, you'll still be able to pick stuff up as you go. It's close. And yeah, there's no harm in sort of like just having a gander, really, at the different techniques people use. I do try and better myself where I can, though of late it hasn't been in my painting. I've been trying to do better sort of sculpts and stuff, and posing. I found posing used to be my real weak point, and so I've been trying to work on that. So I've been doing a couple of characters. I've really pleased with one. He's a vigilator for my Iron Hands, and he's going to be used heavily in February, and the lead up to February for a particular doubles event. And I'm so excited for that. So for those of you who don't know, Geno52 Boys are putting on 3 events next year for their Tarsis narrative events, and I am dead excited. I actually managed to get a ticket to their one in February, the doubles event with Harry. So Harry and I are teaming up. It's going to be my Iron Hands, excuse me, and Harry's. Sam just commented Tarsis because he's also going. And so it's my Iron Hands and Harry's Militia, but his Militia are bionic, and they've got like replaced limbs and stuff, so they are linked heavily with the Iron Hands. That's our theme. We're going really hardcore on the theme, hopefully to the point in which it will be so narratively driven. We're looking at doing a display board and all sorts of stuff like that, really. I'm dead excited for it, to be fair. I think it's going to be properly good fun. But yeah, I'm dead chuffed. I'm so happy we managed to get tickets. For those of you who haven't tried looking already or anything like that, they sold out in less than 2 minutes. Apparently, there were 100 people trying to buy tickets at 1 minute past 7, which is mental when you really think about it. Obviously, I myself, like I say, I was lucky enough. I refreshed the page until 7 o'clock on the dot, and then I was like, right, straight in there, let's get it and let's go. Because I didn't want to miss it at the end of the day. I was really excited by the prospect of going. And like I say, I'm dead lucky to get a spot. But Sam is also going, Sam from the Emperor's Path, and his gaming partner, his hobby mistress, Jodie, is going to obviously go up there with him. And they're doing some good stuff for it. I won't spoil that because that would be unfair of me. But they are definitely going hardcore onto the style of game it's going to be, which is really cool. And I'm very excited to do my own take on that, or mine and Harry's own take on that. And I'm particularly excited to do the display board, to be honest with you. I think that's the reason I want to do it more than anything, because I think Harry and I are going to have a pop at a nice 1x2 display board for them, using nice bits of terrain and everything. So we'll see how that pans out. So update on the miniature. I have now finished the metallics for all intents and purposes. I think they're done. I'm very pleased with some bits. Some bits look average at best, but I'm very pleased with one particular sort of bit of trim, which I'll take a nice picture of, hopefully, and upload it, because it does have that natural shining light from the middle of the panel, which I was trying to achieve. And it's always nice when you manage to do something you were trying to. As for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry before I handle it too much more, and then I will work on base coating some blacks. And my tea is as cold as ice, so that's going right down the sink. There we go, job done. Oh yeah, I'm also recording in my kitchen, by the way. It's a really small flat, so my kitchen is my lounge, is my dining room. So I just do my hobbying on the breakfast bar, which is about 2 steps away from the fridge and the kitchen, so and the sink, which is convenient, to be fair, very convenient. So what are we all working on today? Post in the comments below if you're watching this back, and if you're obviously watching it live, let us know what you're painting at the moment. I presume you're painting. Normally that's what I would do if I'm painting. I'd stick on a live stream or a video. Jesus, this is thick as soup. Haven't thinned this paint yet. Yes, just let me know what you're working on. I'm always interested. How full is it? Oh, that's not good. I should start getting the model air stuff rather than the model colour. But, you know, never mind. The damage is done, so to speak. Okay, I'm just going to wash this out. Metallics on Project X. Love it. I've got to say, actually, if you haven't already gone and subbed to Sam at Empress Path, I'm sure you probably have, but go and do it anyway. He's a top bloke for a start, and his Project X, from the pictures I've seen, which may or may not be online in any other way, so I won't spoil it in case it isn't. I think it's going to be a good project. Personally, I'm going to have this down as Sam's best project so far. That's my prediction. Hopefully I haven't jinxed it or anything, but it's looking sweet, and the models for the Mechanicum in 30k are awesome. And yeah, I just think the paint scheme and the paint plan, I can see it sort of unfolding and turning out really well. So no pressure, Sam, but if you fuck it up, you know, I'm a man of my word. So if people are watching this and they're like, oh right, yeah, I'll go check it out. I'm sure Sam's done a great job. So brush thinner. Sorry, adding airbrush thinner to my unthinned acrylic paints, because I'm so used to now using jinxed it. I'm so used to using thinner paints now because of using the airbrush, that I like to brush with pre-thinned paints. But this was a brand new bottle, and so I haven't had the opportunity to thin it yet. And I use model color black from Vallejo. It's cheap, and a black is a black, in my opinion. Almost every other color has a difference, but a black is a black. You can't change, there's no other way of saying it, really, is there? You know, it's an absence of color. If there was any color in it, it wouldn't be a black anymore. So it's kind of clear. Of course, I could be proven wrong, and I probably will be. But I do like it. It's cheap, and it's cost effective, because you get a bit more with the model color stuff than you do the GW stuff in terms of quantity. So it's good for base coating stuff. So I'm just thinned that, and I'm about to apply it to the black parts of the word bearer stuff. So it'll be a bit of my weapon, my cloak, and my shoulder pads, and hopefully this will start to sort of frame the red. This is what I said about the gold. So I'm really pleased with the red, which is why I'm being incredibly careful in applying all of the rest of the paints, because I don't want to fuck the red up. And in order to do that properly, I need to just take my time and layer very carefully, very slowly, and be gentle with my miniatures. So normally I'll just slap a base coat on, but even the base coats I've got to take my time on. And hopefully this black will help frame that red again. A slightly darker red than the last time I tried as well, which is good, because I was not pleased with the last colour I did. On any level, I was really frustrated, actually, with the last work I did. I tried my red through the airbrush again, and I just couldn't get it to work, and it was getting to the point where I was starting to get really annoyed. Good news is I've figured out what was going wrong. I've sorted the issue, and going forwards, hopefully all the reds will be nice and deep, a deep red. Because that is to me what word bearers are, and this bright red. I honestly don't like the red they've done for the Calf box. I think that's too bright. Again, that could just be personal preference, but I think for me it's too bright to be a word bearer. They are a deeper red than that. Also trying to not shy away, but wander off from the classic just GW only paints. So something I know that Sam's using now that I am hoping to use in the future is Scale 75 stuff, because I've heard so many good things about it now. I want to try it. And if I have the opportunity to try it, I'm sure I'll love it, and then therefore just change my entire paint range. Third edition word bearers used to be red gore. Is that a deeper red, or is that quite a bright red? I'm not familiar with third edition paint colours, I'm afraid. It's the Shizniz. Oh. I hate trim on resin models, so there's always a couple of potholes in it, or like tiny dents that you don't see until you start painting over it, and then it catches the brush. Oh, that sounds like an ice cream van. Back in a minute. No, I'm joking. Yeah, corn red here or there. There we go. Starting to add the black is you know, you get that feeling. I believe the model goes through multiple stages where it starts off. You do the first couple of colours like, yeah, this is great, and then you're like, damn it, this is starting to look really crap. And then at the end, you're like, actually, this has all worked out just fine. So I'm kind of at that stage where it's transitioning from looking like garbage to becoming slightly better. Hopefully, as long as I just don't totally balls it up. Like proper sweat in. Hey, there we go. That's one shoulder pad. And my blood pressure has only risen by like 60%, so that's a win, really. Actually, if you did that, I'd be in trouble. There we go. Hey, sorry. I get excited, give myself little pep talks as I paint, just to keep myself motivated. Right. Hopefully, the benefit of doing this guy with the Cataphractii armor, you're a bigger man than me. I hate edge highlighting. I enjoy. No, I don't enjoy it. I feel like. So I do most of my airbrushing highlights through the airbrush now. So I'll just talk about this while I wait for that to dry. I tend to do like I say, airbrush highlights glazed back to give that kind of like multiple tone effect. Because it does create a much more realistic looking colour sort of tone to the armour. A base coat, a wash, and an edge highlight doesn't quite do it anymore. In my eyes, anyway. Now that people have been using these techniques of layering and all that stuff, it adds so much. But to me, and I think it's the case with a lot of painters out there, is it's about framing a colour again. So when I was doing the red, I did the airbrushing as I usually do, and it came out okay. And I was like, oh, do you know what? This isn't bad. This isn't half bad. But it got to the part where I was just like, it needs something else. This airbrush highlight isn't going to cut it on its own. And so I just did a very gentle edge highlight with Squig Orange, just catching corners and stuff, and it made such a big difference. I was like, right, I've got to keep doing that, really, because I think it is going to make not necessarily the world of difference, but a noticeable difference in taking this model from what I can usually produce to just above what I usually produce. And that's the plan, really, is to make this model slightly better than the norm. Because I'll be honest, I'm an average painter, and so taking it a little bit higher is always the plan. And at the moment, I'm not edge highlighting, thank God. I am doing big panel work, but I'm doing big panel work around delicate edge highlights, so I don't want to spill over onto them. Hence my fear of totally cocking it up, because I've already spent ages painting the gold, and I'm getting very, very close to some gold trim right now. With a rather large brush as well, because I'm obviously base coating, so it's got to be a slightly heftier size brush. Yeah, I'll put in the second layer on that. So, beep, boop, beep. What are we all looking forward to this Christmas, hobby-wise? the more time, the new models, or is it the opposite? Do you have less time over Christmas to hobby? It depends. I suppose it depends what partners and friends are doing and stuff like that. Absolutely sweating it right now. Trying desperately not to spill over onto the stuff I've already done. I think I just have. It's not noticeable, it's alright. So, Sam's looking for Krios Venators. And I don't blame him, they're cool models, and I think they're pretty good on the table as well, to be fair, from what I've heard and seen on battle reports and stuff. It never hurts to have one with your Mechanicum. Okay. Whew. Nerve-wracking. Now I've got to do it all again. So we've been going about an hour now. Probably more than an hour. On and off, given the sketchy start to the stream that we had, which was a real pain in the arse. But hopefully it's sort of back on track on some level. I don't know how I'll let it go up live. Probably just as is, and then see how it goes. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So Sam's playing a sweet game on the 22nd of December. So he's cancelled the one we were going to have, and he's going to go up against someone who's going to bring something cooler. No, I'm joking. No, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm getting to play Sam over Christmas again. And since our the last time I popped round for gaming was properly good fun. I'm dead excited for another one. That was hands down one of the best days gaming I had. It was so funny. I just couldn't stop laughing. Towards the end, we were recording so we did one battle report, which went incredibly well for me, and we played a second game, and it actually went really well for Sam. But we didn't record it because it was just almost impossible. There was too much laughing, and doing intros and stuff was next to impossible. So yeah, we struggled, but it was really good fun. It was really good fun, and the food, the lunch was absolutely outstanding. So I am looking forward to going back and playing another game. Obviously, I'll be bringing the hurt, no doubt, because I'm a whack player. For those who don't know, I'm a win at all costs. I don't believe in the narrative side of gaming. I always take the big toys, the tanks, the super heavies, just to basically shit on my opponent. Yeah, no, not the case. Not the case at all. It'll be infantry all the way. Always. Infantry works 60% of the time, all the time, and that's probably being generous with the 60. Maybe like 6. Actually, that being said, I tot up when I play games. I like to note down because it provides a reminder for me, and I can have a think about where I'm going with things in terms of list-wise, build-wise. It reminds me of the cool games I've had as well. I got put down my opponent, the Legion they played, stuff like that. And so I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been sort of going through, making sure all that's in order. And I was figuring out my win percentage ratios and stuff, because I find that quite interesting, just to see how you perform over, I don't know, say 6 months. Well, since January, I've played just shy of 20 games with the Word Bearers now, maybe 21, I think now. And I'm rocking a good 28% win ratio. And with only one draw, that's a lot of losses. It was interesting to look at that and think, well, all those fun games I had, I still got absolutely smashed, but I still had good fun, and it really put things into perspective for me, to what I enjoy about the hobby and the heresy. And it's not about sort of getting those big wins and being like, ha, screw you, I win. It's just not about that for me. And I really understood that when I was looking over my win to loss ratios, and then thinking well, yeah, I could be a dick, I could build dick lists, I could be a horrible person and take 30 Gal Vorback or something. It's very doable, and it should work in theory. But that's not what it's about. It's not what the heresy is about, and it's not what I'm about. I'm about having fun and making sure that my opponent has a good time as well. And for that reason, the heresy works so well, I think, for me anyway. And so when I got to the conclusion that I'd lost a absolute crap load of games, most people would be like, oh, I'm never playing this again. But it just made me want to play more word bearers and throw down with my opponents and just show the funny side of it. Take it on the chin, but enjoy myself. And so I'm hoping to get more games with the word bearers in before February, because January February time is going to be entirely Iron Hands orientated. Given the fact I'm going to an event with them and I want to brush up and make sure I know what I'm doing. So right now I'm just laying all the black down on the massive, massive cape that the traitor wears. Again, I chose black to accent and sort of frame the red, because the red is the core colour, but I didn't want to go too crazy and use too many different tones. So it's just a big, massive black cloth, effectively, drapes around his waist. Really, really dynamic cape as well, in terms of the way it moves, the way it's been designed, because it's very 3D. Again, I would 100% recommend to go out and buy this model just to paint it for the sure hell of it, because even if you don't play the game, you'll agree, hopefully, that it's a beautiful sculpt, and it's been so much fun for me to paint so far. I could get another one and still enjoy it, I reckon. So just laying the black down on all the big surface areas for it. I wish I'd kept it off and airbrushed it, but at the end of the day, I didn't. So there's no real good reason, to be fair, apart from the fact I was moving, and it was easier for me to transport a fully built model than it was a part built model. So I was like, oh, I'll just stick it on. I was hoping to start it much sooner than now, to be fair, because I've had it for like 2.5, 3 months. But I just didn't start it. I was very, very slow to get going with him. So, such is life. But that being the case, he has been built this way for quite a while. And finally he's getting some paint and some love and attention. For now. Ugh. Like I say, such a nice sculpt. I want to do my best paint job I can. I'm so used to just getting stuff done for events, and it makes it somewhat subpar. So hopefully we'll go a bit further with this one. Go a bit further, take it up to the next level. I think the face is something I'm going to try and really focus on, because I've not really done a proper face before. Well, I have, but I've not really focused on it. And I think that'd be good fun, something different. But I couldn't do the face separately, because that one is actually part of the resin sculpt. And there was no way of taking the face out or anything like that without totally fucking the model up. So might have this guy ready for the 22nd, to be fair, Sam. So you could be seeing him on the table for the first time then. So probably Perils and die turn 1. Suck himself into the warp. Get that good old freshly painted model syndrome going just for you. This fucking cape is so... because it's so tarnished, it's taking so much paint to fill all the little gaps. Lightning guns, that's how he's going to die. Nah, he's not core 4 on, he won't get insta-killed by them. God, he's so bad. He's going to die by getting sucked away to the warp turn 1. Hands down. He'll fail his leadership test on 3 dice. And I'll only throw 2 at it and roll 2 6s. And then the power will proceed to do nothing to help me. think it's going to be weird. I don't think I'll be taking Cortha on next game, to be honest with you. Which is a scary thought. Oh, shit on a stick. Right, just quickly clean my brush. I didn't make a mistake, honest. Oh, that was incredibly well saved. Whew! I just put a massive blob of black paint on my red, and I was honestly I was almost about to cry because of how long it's taken me to get that red nice. But what I did was I licked a totally dry brush and just went right in with the brush and blended it into a shadow. So that's how you deal with on-the-spot issues. You go, oh no! Quick, use water. I've not got a whole lot of black left to do, so I might get that done today as well. And I've just noticed it's almost 10 o'clock, so any parting words from people watching before I head off and paint on my own, then feel free to leave them in the comments. Be as nice or as horrible as you like. I don't have to read them, people can't see them, so say whatever you want to say. Obviously, I do apologise profusely for basically totally messing up the visual side of things. You can blame the electrical company. No, sorry, not the electrical company. You can blame them for other stuff. You can blame the internet provider for the other person, and that bloody guy piking my Wi-Fi. So yeah. Anyway, I'll try and not bang on about that too much for the next couple of weeks. But yes, and thank you very much, Sam, who says have a lovely day. You too. And that's it from me. So I hope you all have a nice day. And until next time, bye, I guess.